Hi, this is Miss Goodale, and today I'm going to be talking about finding the area of trapezoids. In some of our previous videos, I talked about finding the area of parallelograms, which includes squares and rectangles as well. You can refer back to those videos for those shapes. I've also talked about the area of a triangle. Now today I'm going to extend that further, and we're going to add on the area of a trapezoid. If you see on this area sheet, I have a couple of different ways you could write down the formula for that. One common way is 1/2 b1 or base 1 plus b2 or base 2 h times the height, or base 1 plus base 2 times height and then divided by 2. Okay, and let me kind of explain a little bit more about trapezoids so that this makes a little bit more sense of how they get that answer. So what is a trapezoid? It is a quadrilateral or a four-sided closed figure without any gaps with at least one pair of parallel sides. If it had two pairs of parallel sides, then it would be a parallelogram. So I've drawn a couple of examples of parallel sides, trapezoids. And if you look at my drawings here, I have shown that the parallel sides are the two bases, and the height is coming up from a right angle from one of the two bases to the other. Now, if you look over here, my drawings are kind of to help explain how this works. So remember when we talked about the area of a parallelogram, that's area equals base times height, we can actually make a trapezoid into a parallelogram if we took that trapezoid, flipped it upside down, and put it on top of itself. So then we would have a parallel side, a parallel side, a parallel side, and a parallel side here. Same thing here. I would end up with a rectangle if I stacked the second one on top of itself. So that's kind of the start of how this works. If you think about a parallelogram, if I put this and this together, that's actually like adding the top to the bottom. So those two bases together, that would make this long side, which is the base, and then my height. So that would actually end up being base 1 plus base 2, and then height is like base times height. Now, if we remember the way this started, though, we don't want this full shape, we want half of this shape, and that's why we get divided by 2, okay? So when we add the two bases together, that makes it a parallelogram. When we divide it by 2, we get half of that parallelogram, which is back down to our trapezoid. Okay, so that's how those formulas work. Now let's do a few examples. The first one I'm going to do is just using the 1/2 method. The second one I'm going to do just dividing by 2. You'll find they both come up with the same answer. Probably most of the time you'll just think about it as divided by 2. So 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2 is 7 plus 18. And then times height, which is 10. So then 1/2 times 25 times 10. 1/2 times 25 times 10 is 250. And 1/2 times 250, if I write it this way, 1/2 times 250 over 1. Remember, we multiply straight across, 250 over 2. And 250 over 2 can be reduced to 125. The other one, I'm just going to write it this way, and I'm going to put a couple of pairs of parentheses around it. So base 1 plus base 2, 15 plus 25, or 25 plus 15, times height, so that's times 12, And then I divide that answer by 2. So then 15 plus 25 is 40. And take that times 12 and divide that answer by 2. So 40 times 12 is 480. 480 divided by 2 is 240. And that's your answer for that. I need to put my labels on these. And again, going back to the other videos, when I label something that is an area, it is square units. So it's just feet squared. Let's call this one meters. And so that one would be meters squared. Let's do a couple more examples. And again, if I'm going too fast for you, you can pause, rewind, whatever you need to do in order to watch these videos. So let's put these into the formula. So my 2 bases actually here are going the other direction. I kind of inverted that to the side. So I have my base 1 plus base 2, which is 10 plus 20. And then my height is 8. And then I divide that by 2. So 10 plus 20 is 30. And so then I have 30 times 8 divided by 2. And 30 times 8 is 240. And then I do 240 divided by 2. And then I get 120. And then the last one, again, I just flip those onto their side. So I'm going to start out with base 1 plus base 2, 24 plus 12 times height, which is 6. And notice I'm just using divided by 2. I could use the 1/2 times it also. 24 times or plus 12 is 36. So I have 36 times 6 divided by 2. And 36 times 6 is 216. And then 216 divided by 2 is 108. Okay, so that's about 4 examples. Hopefully that helps you guys understand a little bit more about using the area formula for a trapezoid. Give it a try. Let me know if you have any questions, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.